Hello and welcome once again, friends. My name is Gerald here with Innovate Christian Community Church here in Kannapolis. Here once again to read our psalm for the night. Forgive me for being a little bit later than normal. Tonight I had to work a little bit later, but I did not want to miss this time that we have together to go into God's Word, see what He says through the Psalms, and see if we can be blessed and encouraged by it. As always, I go into this not really sure what the Lord's going to say, so I too am always receiving God's blessing and His encouragement through His Word as I get to share it with you as well. Tonight's psalm again is Psalm 55. It is entitled, Cast Your Burden on the Lord. Give ear to my prayer, O God, and hide not yourself from my plea for mercy. Attend to me and answer me. I am restless in my complaint, and I moan, because of the noise of the enemy, because of the oppression of the wicked. For they drop trouble on me, and in anger they bear a grudge against me. My heart is in anguish within me. The terrors of death have fallen upon me. Fear and trembling come upon me, and horror overwhelms me. And I say, oh, that I had wings like a dove. I would fly away and be at rest. Yes, I would wander far away. I would lodge in the wilderness. I would hurry to find shelter from the raging wind and tempest. Destroy, O Lord, divide their tongues, for I see violence and strife in the city. Day and night they go around it, on its walls, and iniquity and trouble are within it. Ruin in its midst, oppression and fraud do not depart from its marketplace. For it is not an enemy who taunts me, then I could bear it. It is not an adversary who deals insolently with me, then I could hide from him. But it is you, a man, my equal, my companion, my family friend, familiar friend. We used to take sweet counsel together. Within God's house we walked in the throng. Let death steal over them. Let them go down to Sheol alive, for evil is in their dwelling place and in their heart. But I call to God, and the Lord will answer me. Evening and morning and noon I utter my complaint and moan, and He hears my voice. He redeems my soul in safety from the battle that I wage, for many are arrayed against me. God will give ear and humble them, He who is enthroned of old, because they do not change and do not fear God. My companion stretched out his hand against his friends. He violated his covenant. His speech was smooth as butter, yet war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords. Cast your burden on the Lord, and He will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved. But you, O God, will cast them down into the pit of destruction. Men of blood and treachery shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in you. So can you imagine singing this? So here's the deal. As best we can tell, this could have been when our Absalom was trying to deceive people into believing that he was going to be a king himself over Israel. And so he was, backstabbing David basically. And so David is kind of crying out to hear, if it was an adversary I could understand, but it was my friend that did me wrong. And you may have had that experience yourself. I've had similar experiences myself as well. And people sometimes will fail us. Sometimes we will fail someone ourselves, but people will always, at some point or another, fail us because we put too much, I don't want to say too much, but we put a lot of hope and thought into who our friends are. And if it's a close friend, then we share a lot with them. And then for them to turn their back on us whenever we either need them or to turn their back and do wrong to us, then we too are liable to go to God and pray that He make them see the error of their ways. And I think that's what David here was wanting. He wanted God to awaken them to see what they had done and for God to punish them, if need be, for what they had done to David. But on the positive side of the psalm, I can't help but love verse 6 and 7. Oh, that I had wings like a dove, I would fly away and be at rest. Yes, I would wander far away, I would lodge in the wilderness. In the midst of this psalm here, David goes and he has this picture of flying away, being at rest. What an awesome thought. Sometimes maybe we just need to slow down close our eyes and maybe picture ourselves flying away, being a bird in the sky. You know, you look up and you see a big bird, big hawk, whatever, just soaring. And maybe you're like me and you think, man, if I could go through life just soaring on the clouds, not a care in the world, it seems, just riding the wind, not even having to put forth energy almost, you know, just floating about. And so I love David's picture of that in the middle of this psalm or in the middle of this song, and having that thought. And then, as always, David always brings us back to calling to God. He says, but I call to God and the Lord will save me. You know, he always comes back with that pure faith, no matter what, that God hears his prayer, that God is listening to his prayer and to his song here. And he is encouraged knowing that. And his word here encourages us to know that whatever our trial is, that God is listening. He's hearing our prayer. And then in verse 22, just like the title says, it says, cast your burden on the Lord and he will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved. You know, what are you burdened with today? Lord knows there's enough things going on in our world around us. You know, 2020 has not started off as well as many of us had hoped probably. This may be the year that we look back or maybe it's the year that causes us to look back at all the others and say, they weren't so bad, huh? But no matter what your burden is, God can handle it. Give it to him. Lay it down at the cross, as we say. Give it to Jesus. Let him lighten your load. And he says he will never permit the righteous to be moved. When you cast that burden, when you cast your cares on the Lord and you trust him to take it over, then what a weight is lifted from us when we've given it to him. And I mean really give it to him, you know, not just, here, Lord, try to give it to him and you hang on to, you know, because you don't really want to let go. But no, when we take it and lay it at his feet, and when we really trust and walk away from it, thinking or believing that he's going to take care of it for us, you walk away from that prayer, that time, and feel so much lighter. And so friends, I pray that whatever your burden is, whatever it is, give it to him. Allow your soul to be quieted by it, by knowing that he will take care of it. You keep your eyes on him, trust and believe and love him, and he'll relieve you of that burden, I promise. Friends, I pray as always that this has been a blessing and encouragement to you. And I just ask that if so, that you would send it on, share it with somebody else so that they too could be blessed and encouraged. Friends, have a wonderful evening and we'll see you again tomorrow.